Coming up, a review of the book His Majesty's Headhunters, The Siege of Kohima That Shaped World History, written by Mmhonlümo. Namaste friends. My name is Shilil Subramanian Paimal and you are listening to the Histology podcast. Before I proceed, a full disclosure. This book was bought with my own money and not been provided to me by the author or publisher. Little bit about the author. Mmhonlümo was born in Kohima, Nagaland and studied literature at the University of Delhi. He is the author of 3 books of poems, the Penme Poems, published in 2018, The Village Empire, published in 2019, and Sling Tones, published in 2021. Mmhonlümo was a legislator in the Nagaland Legislative Assembly for 2 terms from 2013 to 2023. Let me read what is written on the inside flap of the book cover. Quote, surprisingly little is known about the Siege of Kohima, considered a game-changing event that altered the course of world history during Second World War. His Majesty's Headhunters adds to our understanding of this battle and shows how it redefined a whole era. Providing a unique perspective of Nagaland and its warriors, this book uncovers the untold story of the siege, regarded as one of the more celebrated battles of D-Day and often referred to as the Stalingrad of the East by Western scholars. Historians even believe that this was the last battle of the British Empire and the first battle of the New India. However, that is just the tale told so far by everyone except the Nagas. The real history of this battle, which involved the Japanese army led by Lieutenant General Sato and the Allied forces, is yet to be recounted. As Lieutenant General Sato is said to have remarked, if it not were for the Naga people, the Allied forces would have been defeated in Kohima and the Japanese army would have easily secured the Dimapur railway station and moved victoriously towards Bengal via Assam, thus reversing the outcome of the war. This rare and deeply researched historical account, drawing on records left by officers and soldiers who fought in Kohima, is a page-turner. It brings to the light the valor and spirit of the Naga headhunters who made the supreme sacrifice to protect the honor of their people. Unquote. Now, coming to the book review, the author has divided the book into 2 parts. In the first part, Kiko narrates the British expeditions to the Naga Hills region beginning in the 1830s, the role of the British East India Company in efforts to control Nagas and other tribes in the area, the establishment of British military posts, brutal and savage raids against British forces by the Nagas and other tribes, followed by equally brutal British reprisals, assassinations of British military leaders, and the establishment of successive British political administrations in several villages, culminating at Kohima in 1878. The political agent of Manipur in 1937, Captain George Gordon, was the first to come up with the idea to allow American missionaries into the Naga Hills. Proselytization as a tool to assist colonial domination was mooted. Towards the end, the author rightly says that the violence perpetrated on the Nagas by the colonial forces and their allies that led to the colonization of the Nagas and the consolidation of their rule was aided by the work of missionaries through the schools and the churches they planted. The second part deals with the Battle of Kohima. Various books written on the battle vividly portray the part played by the British forces in defeating the Japanese, but also the entire Burma campaign during the Second World War. In fact, the British National Army Museum voted the Battle of Kohima and Imphal in 2013 as Britain's greatest battle over and above the Battle of Waterloo, the Normandy landings and Stalingrad. The difference between the British and the Japanese in their dealings with the Nagas was the key. The steep terrain of the battlefield was daunting for the British soldiers, and if not for the Nagas, who carried water on their head for them, brought down the wounded on stretchers, walked for hours without much rest, navigated the forest paths without a map, but still ensured that the service was rendered with diligence, things would have been different for the British. The British sent a mind-boggling 40 million cigarettes to the battlefields of Kohima and Imphal. By the sheer numbers, cigarettes seem to have been the main item of demand for the soldiers. The First and the Second World War had seen cigarettes being rationed to soldiers to calm their nerves while in the trenches. The cigarettes and the food enlivened the camaraderie during the 3 months of fierce fighting. Pork is an integral part of the Naga diet and pigs are reared in the backyard in a village home is a delicacy. When the Japanese ran out of supplies, they would simply snatch any pig they saw in the villages and take it by force to eat. In the initial days, the Japanese paid for the vegetables and the food they bought from the Nagas. As their supplies and provisions ran out and the war raged on, they started taking whatever food they could get by force. The Japanese pushed the Nagas right into the arm of the British. The British were very well organized and dealt with the locals in a proper manner, as almost all the Nagas would testify. For every service rendered, they paid well and were never short of supplies to share. Many Nagas remember to this day that it was not just the simple sight of aircraft spraying bullets from the machine guns on the Japanese that both mesmerized and fascinated the Nagas, but it was also the sharing of supplies in times when food was scarce that rejected the theory of brotherhood based on race proposed by the Japanese. Veterans say that the war was won not just by the surplus of food available with the British, but because the Allied forces could convert the best locally available human resource to their side. Conclusion. The book is just under 150 pages and moves at a very brisk pace. The author has done a commendable job in covering the history of the period in a nice and easy to read manner. Hopefully, someday, the Battle of Kohima will get an entry into our school textbooks. The book is very well produced in hardcover format with 8 pages in color showing inscriptions, epitaphs of soldiers at the Kohima War Cemetery and the village where the Japanese soldiers stayed. The author has provided the timelines of the British expeditions to the Naga Hills and of the Battle of Kohima 1944. Kiko concludes the book by paying tribute to the Naga's display of courage and fortitude in the face of a determined force and the Naga spirit which helped change world history. With more than a touch of hyperbole, Kiko writes, "The samurai surrendered to the Naga Dao." I give the book a rating of 4.5 out of 5. The book is available for around Rs 450 on Amazon India and for around 390 on Flipkart. And it is available for 19.99 USD on Amazon USA, where it is available for pre-order as it is scheduled to release only on the 12th of March 2024. I will provide all the respective buy links in the show notes. Please check them out for the latest prices. Last but not the least, thank you for spending your valuable time listening to this book review. Really grateful. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Histology podcast on your favorite podcasting app and also feel free to leave a review. Also, please check histology.com for all previous episodes. Thanks and looking forward to hearing from you. Take care and bye.